Happy Monday, and welcome to Audacity Presents. How's it going representing Christ? When you wake up, are you asking, Lord, how can I represent you today? Before you go to sleep at night, are you kind of thinking back on how your day went, thinking, how did I represent you today? Did you miss an opportunity to represent him? I think we have to be intentional about representing Christ until it just becomes a part of who we are. When Jesus was here on earth, his primary focus was to do the will of the Father. He wanted to represent the Father and do his will. And I feel like we should be the same way. Like, it's not Mary that's walking into a room, but it is Mary, the representative of Christ, walking into the room. Like, it's not Mary driving down the highway, but a representative of Christ driving down the highway. Christ driving down the highway. Okay, let me get back on point, right? We are representatives of Christ in everything that we do. Like I said, it should be who we are. We shouldn't have to second guess what would Jesus do. We just do what Jesus would do, right? So for the past 11 weeks, we're 11 weeks into this thing, and we've been looking at the book of Daniel and how he was able to represent God in everything he did. Here he is exiled in a pagan land, and God is his primary focus. His life was secondary when it came to representing God. And so last week we talked about King Darius and the actions that the king did because he was worried about having to place Daniel in the lion's den. And I shared last week that we got it all wrong. You know, I said the king was in distress. He was fasting. He wasn't entertaining because he was worried because he had to throw Daniel in the lion's den. And again, I still say we got it all wrong because usually we are the ones that's worried when we have to face our lion's den. And it's really not for us to worry about because of the God that we serve. So this week, I want to flip it a little bit. I want to look at Daniel. And there were a few things that stood out to me in this chapter 6 when it talks about the lion's den. Think about this. Daniel has been through a lot. He has been through a lot since being taken into captivity as a teenager. And he served up under 3 kings so far. He was up under King Nebuchadnezzar. He was up under King Nebuchadnezzar's son, Belshazzar, both of them Babylonian kings. And now he's up under this Persian king, King Darius. He's seen a lot. And this is what's interesting when you look a little closer at the difference between Babylon or the Babylonians and the Persians. So the Babylonians burned criminals alive. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They got thrown into the fiery furnace. That is how they punish people, right? But now up under this Persian king who they worship fire, now the Persians persecuted their criminals by throwing them in the lion's den. Now, this is interesting. Daniel didn't just walk into a lion's den. He was actually cast down into a pit of lions. And so when I think of Daniel being cast down into this pit of lions and the kings that he has served up under, aren't you curious as to, wait a minute, how old was Daniel? He was a teenager when he was taken into captivity, right? When they were taken into exile, they took all of these teenage boys. But now he's served, a couple of terms up under these different kings. And when I did a little study, I saw that Daniel was like in his 80s when he got cast into this pit of lions. And this is what I'm imagining. As Daniel is going down into this lion's den, I can see Daniel looking up, still praying to God. As Daniel is praying to God, we know that that's something that he always did. I mean, that's one of the reasons that he's being cast into this lion's den, is because the King Darius had made a decree that nobody else could pray to any other god except him. And then these commissioners found him still praying to the one true God. And that's what got him in this pit to begin with. And so as he's being cast in this pit, I know Daniel is still praying. And think about this, as Daniel is coming out of this pit, Daniel is still focused on God. When we look at chapter 6, around verse 21, it says, "Then Daniel spoke to the king, 'O king, live forever.'" This is as he was coming out of the pit. In 22, it says, "My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, since I was found innocent before him, and also toward you." This is Daniel talking to the king. "O king, I have committed no crime." Then the king was very glad and gave orders for Daniel to be lifted up out of the den. So Daniel was lifted up out of the den, and no injury whatever was found in him, because he had trusted God. How many of us have come out of the lion's den? And remember, I said, the lion's den can be your job, a relationship, sometimes your church. Did I say that? Sometimes your church. Whatever your lion's den is, can you come out of the lion's den and say, "My God sent his angel and shut the lion's mouth, and they have not harmed me, since I was found innocent before him"? I know you shouldn't stop in the middle of a verse like that, but how many times have you been found innocent because you trusted God? I read in this commentary that said Daniel's faithfulness got him into trouble, but his faith got him out of trouble. I think I'll say that again. Daniel's faithfulness got him into trouble because he continued to pray to God, but his faith got him out of trouble. The audacity to represent. So this is my merry moment. When we focus on God, who's above us, he will take care of the things around and below us. This is what's on my replay. Shout out to my friend Dana, who is a friend of the show. A couple of weeks ago, she sent me this song, and it has been played in my head ever since. It's an old one, but a good one. And it is by Dottie Peoples, called "Closet Religion." And it's like this whole song was written about Daniel and King Darius. And some of the words are, "I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I got to let the world know wherever I go, I got to praise and serve the Lord." And then the words go on to talk about King Darius and Daniel praying while he was in the lion's den. Closet Religion by Dottie Peoples. Jump over to my Spotify 2023 playlist and take a listen to this song. We shouldn't have a closet religion. We should let the whole world know wherever we go. Listen, y'all have a good week.